We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problems of today. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. Now we're going to do things a little different. We are going to provide an honest look at Ole Miss athletics for the fan, by the fan, and of the fan. That is what we do. Hell be to me. I'm just kidding. Tune in for some Ole Miss sports news. We're going to give it to you straight. Yeah, right now. The POMcast starts now. It happens now. Holy cow. Listen to me. It's starting. Well, it's going to start right about now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Regional Day, Oxford Regional Day 1, starting at 2 o'clock Central. Florida State and USM will be held, and then at 7 o'clock tonight is Ole Miss in Southeast Missouri. Thank you very much for watching the show. It's because of your viewership that we had such a rapid ascent over the last couple of months, and that's hopefully only going to continue. Before we get started, I do want to tell you about the Vault Society. That is the major push from the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation. It's basically a 5-year commitment of support. Membership starts at $5,000 a year, and there's a benefit chart on the site. All gifts to Ole Miss between now and June 30th will receive triple points. Red points are non-deductible and go towards priority seating. Blue points are 90% tax deductible and will go towards parking and non-home ticketed games. There's a fine example of that at Swayze this weekend, and also Labor Day, it meets that one as well. So if you have any questions, go to give2athletics.com, give2athletics.com. If you're interested in the show, we're on Twitter at The Stephen Willis and at The Rebel Walk. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast and The Rebel Walk. YouTube, Positively Ole Miss. Subscribe, hit the bell. You'll not only know that we're streaming, you'll know what we're streaming about. That'll help you out even if you do not watch it on that being your chosen media. That'll be a good thing for that because it'll pop up on your phone and let you know. And we're also on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss. We have a catch-all for Ole Miss and non-Ole Miss stuff at Willis Digital Media. We filmed our first live stream last night of the Believe in Georgia Dogs podcast. So check that out if you want a little extra perspective. Corey Burton and Israel Troop talking about Georgia football and mainly about the transfers of Eric Gilbert and the kid from Clemson, along with the intra-conference transfer rule being altered. It didn't exactly go away. They put deadlines on when you could go. Like you had to let them know by February 1st if you didn't want to sit out a year that you were leaving. After February 1st, you got to sit out a year for football. For basketball, it's like May 1st. There's a deadline for each sport. So it's not so much a free-for-all that some people feared, but it still is a pretty terrific option. But basically, signing day is the end day of roster management and acquisition for next season. After that, you're going to have to sit out a year. So that's the way the SEC is looking at that. If you listen to podcasts, we're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. We're also on smaller podcatchers, but if we listed them all, we'd be here all day. So tune into that as well. We put that on there as a service. We're mainly a video product, as you can see, but we do want to provide people that would prefer to do that the ability to get the information that we have, our previews, our reactions, and things like that. I'm Stephen Willis. This is the POMcast. Thank you for tuning in. This is a little magical mystery tour that we call Ole Miss Fandom. We're having a really, really good time. At 2 o'clock Central today, USM and FSU will first pitch the Oxford Regional. That game is on ESPNU. Ole Miss and SEMO is at 7 o'clock tonight. It's on ESPN3. Now, ESPN3 is different than SEC Network Plus. There is no cable provider needed. It's based on your internet service provider. It's a completely internet streaming service. Now, it probably hit before you put all the credentials in, but I know it's confusing. If your ISP is a member of the ESPN3 family, I would check that out earlier today. And if it isn't, I would find a place you can watch the game. Maybe a friend with an ISP. But um, that is the difference between ESPN3. So SEC Network Plus goes through your cable service. Mine being like YouTube TV. Just put in information. I have all the SEC Network Plus and ESPN app stuff, with the exception of ESPN3. I get ESPN3 because I have Spectrum. So understand that going in, and you can kind of understand why this is set up the way it is. It's not designed like, if you get SEC Network Plus, you do not automatically get ESPN3. But that's as clear as mud as I can make it. Um, Today in the show we have a press conference highlights of Ole Miss players. We got about 8 minutes of this, and we also have sound from Southeast Missouri, their team and their players as well. Um, whenever we get done, Whenever they get done, we're going to come back and talk a little bit about it, and maybe move on to football and part two. Maybe talk about the excitement level in Oxford this weekend and what it might mean. So I don't exactly know where we're going to go, but first we're going to hit these press conference highlights, and I'll see when we get back.
Well, we've talked about it, I think, a bunch this week, obviously with the staff to make the decision, and then with you guys. And I think you've heard it before. At the end of the day, the goal is we want to win game one, no doubt about it. But the goal is to win the regional and to move on. And we thought, because of the matchups, looking at all three teams, this gives us the best opportunity to get through the first two games. And a lot of people would look at it where, Southeast Missouri, there's, 4 seed, but they're probably the best 4 seed in the country. A team that not only won their tournament, so they're playing well, but they've won the regular season. They got a pitcher of the year and an ace that would be an ace on any staff, and Dylan Dodd. They present a lot of problems, for any team, not just Ole Miss. And so, but fortunately, we got a guy like Derek that we think can handle it. That he's, an ace in his own regard. A guy that's, has pitched well the last 2 weekends. I thought he pitched well at Georgia. Certainly pitched well in the Southeastern Conference tournament. So we think he's ready.
Yeah, he's looked great for us lately. Gave us a really good start against Vandy in that second game. And it's got to pitch a lot of confidence. And, we love when he's out on the mound. He's going to give us a good outing. Yeah, I love where we're at. We've proven all year that we've got a incredible offense top to bottom. That's just relentless. It won't give away at bats, and that's what you need come postseason. Guys that just go in there, compete, and get the timely hit.
It's seems like a simple answer, but it's not. I think, sometimes when you look back at the starts, there's outings where he's made good pitches, and it can happen, where, they just get hit, and, at the wrong time, and balls fall into a gap, guy, give up a home run. If you look back at the Vanderbilt game, he actually didn't pitch that poorly. Actually pitched pretty good, up into the end there, where he walked a couple people. But some of those wind-dated balls where, again, credit them, but, they were good pitches and balls that were struck well. But then, what Derek alluded to, I think, is different, where you start to, and you guys kind of hammered it on him. I was sitting back there going, wow, this is some tough questions. But I think, in a nutshell, what he was trying to say, and what I think he's learned, and what a lot of the young pitchers learn, is to be more themselves out there. I think, they try to keep things calm. They try to stay in the moment. And sometimes a guy like Derek, it almost goes too much. to where they lose some of their aggressiveness, they lose some of the, especially Derek being, one of the best athletes on the team, Omaha Challenge champion two years in a row. So this guy's a position player, pitcher. He loses that aggressiveness in trying to calm himself down and stay in the moment. And sometimes that's not a good thing. And so, we've talked about it the last couple of weeks of, be aggressive, go after him. It's all right. Not everybody has to show the emotion that Doug shows, and not everyone that's really good does that. But you got to be yourself, and you got to be more in attack mode. And I think the last few weeks he's done that. He's got tremendous stuff, as you know. He's going to throw the ball in the low to mid 90s. He's got an outstanding slider and changeup. He's a guy that really commands it well. He's the total package. But I think sometimes we forget that he's a freshman, and him and Drew, we've put a lot on them. And and once you lost Gunner, Gunner and Doug could take that weight a lot, in the first two games. But once you lose Gunner and you're putting so much now on two freshmen, I think sometimes you see some of their deficiencies or where they need to mature. But certainly that was a long answer, but you guys have asked it several different times, so I thought I'd give it to you.
Just like you said, let it carry over. Hasn't been too much I've been working on, physically. That's crazy. It's just having the mindset of going out there and knowing that you're going to win. So I think that's all it is. Doesn't matter who we play. I'm just going to go out and do what I do. Oh, I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. It's a great opportunity, so I can't wait. But, I kind of knew there was a shot that it might not be Doug going first. They talked to me. They talked to McDaniel. They said, it might be one of you guys, so be ready. And we've been on long rest, so it's nothing we had to really worry about. But a few days ago, the coaches told me that it'd be me. So, I'm fired up, get to open the thing up and play some playoff ball at Swayze. So it's going to be awesome. I don't know if it's being more calm or if it's being more consistent in what I show, but you've seen we've got a lot of guys on our staff that like to show a lot of emotion. It's pretty cool, I think. It's something that's starting to define us, and it helps a lot of guys. But what you really got to do is figure out what works for you. And I guess sometimes when you're having trouble, the emotion you show and just how you look out there can be a big impact on that. So I've just had to, change a few things about how I look, and it really has an effect on the mindset. So I don't know if it's me being more controlled or me being more fired up, but I feel a lot more comfortable out there now. Oh, I've learned a ton this year. Last year playing 17 games, it was awesome, and that team was great to be a part of. It was a great experience. But I learned, I'll be honest, I feel like I learned nothing compared to what I've learned this year. Just going through a full season, way more games than playing in high school or anything I've done before. The ups and downs of it, winning, going through the SEC. I couldn't begin to tell you how much I've learned. But, believing in yourself, believing in your team, and staying consistent sounds pretty simple, but that's I think the keys to success for us.
They can go when they can go. So, there is no next week unless you win this week. And so I say that, which, I think, Nick, and, I think everybody here understands. You can't pitch a guy that's not capable, a guy that just doesn't have it. But we kind of go through a deal, which you've heard me say before, where they'll stretch, they'll do their pregame throwing, and then Lafferty will kind of take a roll call almost before the game, and a lot of that we won't get until about 10 minutes beforehand. Now, some of them we know obviously they're fine; they haven't pitched yet, or they pitched the other day. But guys that pitched on Friday, when you're asking them Saturday, how do they feel? And Taylor will tell us, and he told us a couple times in the tournament, he was a little sore, and and so and then he also told us, hey, yeah, I got the 9th and I'm good and I feel great, or I got more. And so we trust them. This is something that just didn't happen this week. This has been happening since September, in inter-squad games and everything else. So I think they trust us, they being the staff, the pitching staff, and obviously we have to trust them because, we don't want to run them out there if they can't do it for a lot of reasons. One, certainly their health, but the other is because we're trying to win. And, you don't want to run somebody out there that's, physically, not at their best. And so we'll take all that into consideration, but, we're here to win. And so we're not counting pitches. We're not looking for days off. We're trying to win games, and when guys are able to and physically can do it, and
I think we're pretty confident. I mean, we have been hot recently. And, I think going to some SEC schools early in the year, playing 4 games at Arkansas really has kind of got our feet wet, and we're pretty comfortable coming in.
I think I've gone right at hitters, and I feel like I haven't given them much, and I've forced them to kind of earn everything that they've got. I think that's always kind of been the pitcher I am. I try to eliminate the walks, and I try to attack hitters right away and make them beat me.
I think probably as confident as a 4 seed is going to be, right? I mean, we played well all year. I know we did. I think we're 19 of our last 27, so it looks like we're pretty hot. But we've been consistent the entire year. We played 14 series. We've won 12 of the 14 series. We dropped the 4-game set at Arkansas, and then we stumbled one time against Eastern Illinois in conference. So we played good baseball the entire year. We opened up with a series win at South Alabama. They're a 3 seed, and the Gainesville Regional. So we had a very good non-conference schedule. We played well in that. I feel like our team has been steady, and they've been consistent, and they've kind of stayed in the middle emotionally. And I think that is what we need to do, obviously, in front of 16,000 fans at Swayze tomorrow night. But that's easier to be said than done, right? Like when we were at Fayetteville, the park wasn't fully open. There was 4,000 people there. They were all day games. Coming in here on Friday night in front of 7,000 people is going to be a different challenge. But the fact that we've played so well for so long this year, we've just played steady and consistent and played fundamental baseball. I think our guys think they can do that. And they play with a ton of confidence in Dylan. Every time Dylan's gone out there, we've won every game but 2 the entire year on Fridays. And they play with a ton of confidence. They feel like he's going to keep them in the game. They have a lot of belief that we're going to be in the game tomorrow night. Doesn't mean we're going to win it, but they feel like we're going to go up in the middle of the game and we're going to have a shot. And our team, I think, is going to come out. And I think the biggest challenge for us is mastering the emotions and mastering the environment. And if we can just play the game and not play the event, I think we have a pretty good shot.
All right, Derek Diamond will take the hill tonight against Southeast Missouri, against Dylan Dodd. I'm looking forward to seeing that matchup. Derek Diamond has fantastic stuff, mid-90s fastball. If you have any questions about the preview in the game, go and check at noon. Heck, I might as well do this down here. The preview of the series, it'll be up at about 12 o'clock and go completely, or 11 o'clock, I should say, Central Time, and go completely until game time. So that'll give you all the pregame information that you so desperately need. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the atmosphere and what it means and all that good stuff. Anyway, stick around.
You want to answer that, don't you? I bet it's just killing you seeing the soft glow just inches away. Someone wants to tell you something or ask you something. Oh, come on, answer it already! Just so we're clear, that wasn't my fault. Next time, ignore your inner voice. Don't text and drive. A message from Florida's trusted choice independent insurance agents.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis. I just want you to stick around a little longer. We're going to get back to the podcast right after these messages.
Tonight, nearly 40,000 veterans across the country are homeless. These men and women have pledged to serve our nation, and now we must serve them. Landlords across the country have helped make significant progress in reducing veteran homelessness by making housing available, but there is more that we can do to bring our veterans home. Visit www.va.gov/homeless to see how you can get involved. And if you are a veteran and you are experiencing homelessness, please call 877-4AID-VET. Thank you.
All right, welcome back to the POMcast. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day. It's actually a pretty day down here at the palatial Central Florida studios, and I'm having a good time. Before we get started in the second segment, I want to tell you about the rebelwalk.com. Evie and her team do a fantastic job and provide a subscriber level experience for no money. The only investment that you have to make to follow Ole Miss is your time. And believe me, it's well worth it. So if you want to check them out, go check them out at therebelwalk.com. Again, that is therebelwalk.com. I'm really excited, as you can tell by the way I titled this and what's going on. I'm very excited that the actual regional is here because the regional starts the reward. It's for the regular season coming through as good as they were. You know, all the things going back and forth. When do you start Doug in the season? They move him to Saturday. Ole Miss drops 5 series in a row. Then the injuries happen one after the other. It's kind of a special year. And this year, more than any other, a number 1 seed in a regional is well deserved for the players as a reward. Now, the one other thing you need to know is there's no such thing in life as a guarantee in sports. You can do what you want to do, but if something goes wrong, it goes wrong. And you're only right if it works. So if Ole Miss wins the regional, starting Doug on Saturday was exactly the right thing to do. If Ole Miss does not win the regional, it was not the right thing to do. There is no right answer to this one. It is only right if it works. The same could have been said if they'd have pitched Doug on Friday. It's only going to be right if it works because that's the way we are when it comes to sports. It's a very transactional business. And there's no matter what happens, this is the correct decision. No, that is not the correct decision. It's only the correct decision if it works. And it's okay if you for people to say that. I mean, otherwise it's just opinions and, prognostications and weathermen and whatever's going on. I mean, anything going into a preview is going to be all of that. What do they say on like Game of Thrones? Everything behind the butt is bullshit. And that's what it is. Ole Miss needs to win the series, but Ole Miss needs to win the series. That's what you need to take from this. And Ole Miss on paper has better talent than the other 3 teams, easily. Better pitching staff than the other 3 teams. Better hitting than the other 3 teams. Better defense than the other 3 teams. I mean, all down. Ole Miss should win this series. I think we talked in our preview this morning with Chris Muller. He puts it at about 75% chance that Ole Miss wins the series. But there's no such thing in sports as a guarantee. You still have to play well. You still have to do what you're supposed to do. Nothing is going to be handed to you because they're on scholarship too. They might be a tick below where you are on scholarship, but they're on scholarship, so they can hit the ball. They can pitch the ball. Dylan Dodd's going, they're pitching the ace. There's always a chance things could go wrong, but you're only right if it works. That is it. There is no right answer if you're wrong. When after this series is over, we'll look at it. Or this regional is over, we'll look at it, and if Ole Miss made it through, we'll say that all of his decisions worked. And if he didn't make it through it, all of his decisions did not work. And that's what we're looking at. I know there is the, what's the word? The need for some people to raise up the meaning of each and every game. It's just a tournament game. I mean, it's just like Ole Miss hosting a regional 10 other times. It's no different than that. There's no intrinsic value added to it. There's no importance added to it. Just go out and win the game. And that was why that I was earlier in the week talking about let's keep the normal rotation. I've been team business as usual from the beginning. But anyway, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes back. Check out, once it pops up down here, Chris Muller's preview of the game. We got about 15 minutes of that. And also, the Tennessee football preview for 2021 popped up this morning. Go to see that. It was Tennessee football preview with, I can't remember his name. Mr. Kirbyson. Sorry about that. But he'll provide an avenue and like just walk you through Tennessee. It was a pretty good interview, and we got Louisville coming on Monday. Next week, we have Mississippi State, believe it or not, and LSU lined up. So that's pretty cool. So thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the games. Have fun. Cheer your hearts out. Don't get anxious. Don't deal with anxiety. Just cheer your hearts out. Have fun because this starts the reward for the Ole Miss baseball season. Now, if we can just get to Omaha, that'd be great. But this starts the reward. First step is winning this regional. Anyway, I'm Stephen Willis. Thank you very much, and hotty toddy.